This is the Content Marketing Podcast, episode number 167, Fuel Your Demand Generation with Email Autoresponders. Hello and welcome to the Content Marketing Podcast. This is the show where we help you attract and retain business through the power of quality content. I'm your host, Rachel Parker of Resonance Content Marketing, and today is March 24th, 2016. Hello, or as we say in Texas, howdy, and thank you for joining us for today's episode of the Content Marketing Podcast. Just a reminder, this podcast is available on iTunes and Stitcher and SoundCloud, so if you like what you hear, please feel free to click on over and subscribe so you can get every single episode delivered directly to your happy little ears. I also want to invite you to download our brand new ebook, Ninja Secrets of B2B Blogging, and you can get your very own copy at b2bbloggingebook.com. And of course, there's the numeral 2 in B2B. Okay, last week we shared some ideas on how to turn the demand generation process into a sales marketing love fest. Spring, time for love. If you happen to miss that episode, feel free to check it out on iTunes or Stitcher or SoundCloud or via the RSS feed. Today we are talking once again about lead generation, and specifically we're talking about how to fuel your demand gen efforts with email autoresponders. But first, it's time to check in with our news feed for this week's rundown of news you can use. You know, here in Texas, we just wrapped up the annual South by Southwest conference, the huge conference over in Austin. And I was just thinking, you remember last year at South by Southwest was when Meerkat officially launched and live video suddenly became a thing. And I was just sitting back thinking, wow, what a difference a year makes. You know, back then this whole live video thing was becoming just getting some buzz and getting some attention. And now we've got Periscope and we've got Blab and we've got Facebook getting into the live video game. So just interesting what a huge difference a year makes. Okay, first news item is that Instagram is introducing some controversial changes to its feed. There is going to be a new Instagram algorithm that will shift the order of photos and videos in your feed, and I'm quoting from their post here, based on the likelihood you'll be interested in the content, your relationship with the person posting, and the timeliness of the post. So translation, your Instagram feed is going to now mirror the Facebook feed, and that's no surprise since Facebook owns Instagram. And of course, Instagram is now in the advertising business, so that means brands who are relying on Instagram are probably going to need to fork over some money if they're going to be seen. And it's very controversial. TechCrunch put out a post saying titled "The Death of Instagram for Brands" or something like that. So it's definitely getting some controversy, seen as a money grabbing move on the brand side. And of course, Instagram is phrasing this like, well, we want people to see the content. We want that improved user experience. So who's right, who's wrong, I don't know, but that is the reality that we have to deal with. So if you want more information, I will provide the link to the article that goes into more detail, and I will provide that in the blog post for this episode. Okay, a new platform is on the horizon. Yes, I can hear foreheads being smacked all over as I say this. There's a new platform called Splash. Splash is, this is how they're presenting it. It's a Snapchat-like platform for casual sharing in virtual reality. And, again, quoting from the article here, it allows you to quickly share 360-degree videos of your surroundings that can be viewed on both smartphones and virtual reality headsets like Google Cardboard. Now, I am ashamed to admit I did not know what Google Cardboard is, but if you Google Cardboard, you will see that it's Google's kind of pared down virtual reality device. So anyway, Splash is currently available on iOS only. I have downloaded it myself, but I've not had a chance to play with it. So if you want more information, there is a good post on Mashable about it, and I will provide the link in the blog post for this episode. Okay, our content hit of the week is from the Content Marketing Institute site. They always share wonderful things. And it is a post called SEO Page Titles, 15-Point Checklist for B2B and B2C Brands. This is written by Mike Murray, again on the Content Marketing Institute site. And this is one of those nuts and bolts posts that I look at and say, wow, I am so happy that someone took the time to write this and to put it out there because, metadata is so vital for getting our content found. And there is both an art and a science to it. And, every time I work on a site for a client, I have to kind of relearn those rules of metadata. And we need to remember those page titles are very powerful. Not only do we want to put them together in a way that attracts Google, that attracts the Google bot, but it also needs to be something that looks good on those search engine results pages and that entices people to actually click on it. So in this post, Mike offers, just like it says in the title, a 15-point checklist for creating successful page titles. And wonderful read, and I will provide the link in the blog post for this episode. Okay, that's it for this week's update. If you stumble across something you think might be of interest to your fellow content marketers, please tweet it to me at ResonanceCont. That's Resonance Content with the ENT lopped off so that we can share. Now it's time for this week's Spotlight segment. Fuel your demand generation with email autoresponders. All month long, we are talking about demand generation. We're talking about what it is and specifically about how content marketing fits into that demand gen puzzle. And today I want to talk about the role that content can play and a specific type of content, and that is email autoresponders. Now, these are emails that are automatically sent out to individuals on your list according to certain criteria and a set schedule. Now, it's not like your e-newsletter, because that is something that you write anew every single week. These are emails that you write once and set on a schedule, set your criteria, and just let them auto-respond, just like the name says. Funny how that works out. So before we get into the nuts and bolts of autoresponders, I want to back up and look at the role that they play. So let's say that you have a demand generation asset. Let's say you have a simple ebook that you put out there to attract those top of funnel individuals. So they find your landing page, they like it, they fill out the form, and they request the ebook. So the question for you is, now what? Okay. Of course, they get the email containing their ebook or a link to the ebook, and they get a thank you message. And then what? Now, we're so tempted to kind of move on to the next thing because, they asked for something, we delivered it to them, we said thank you. We're done for now, right? Until we follow up with these people because we have them on our list. But actually, if we do that, we are missing out on a golden opportunity because these people we have sparked enough interest in them to convince them to fill out a form and to download our content. So what we can do is turn that spark of interest into an opportunity for deeper engagement. Now, let me give you an example, a real-life example. If you downloaded one of my ebooks, you may have noticed that I follow it up with a 5-episode mini e-course. So the people who download my ebooks, they will get an email each day for 5 days that offers some insights that takes them a little deeper into the subject of the ebook. So if you sign up, let's say for Ninja Secrets of B2B Blogging, yes, you will get the link with your ebook and a thank you message, but then you will also, for the next 5 days, you will get a daily piece of standalone content to help you understand the topic a little more deeply. And, the beauty of the autoresponder, I was doing some research for this podcast, and I came across a copy blogger post that called Autoresponders the superheroes of email marketing. And it really is true because you only write those emails once. Those that 5-day mini course, I wrote it once. We set it up in Constant Contact to be automatically sent when someone downloads. They are set on a schedule to be delivered every day for 5 days, and then at the end of the autoresponder series, there's always that call to action. I invite them to the next step. It might be applying for a complimentary consultation. It might be watching a recorded webinar, or it might be downloading an additional asset that can offer them another level of understanding. It's one way that I keep my funnel moving, and yes, it does take time and effort to set up those autoresponders, but like I said, once they're set up, once you set your criteria, set your schedule, you just let them go automatically, and you don't even have to think about them. In fact, it's funny, sometimes people will respond to one of those autoresponders with a question or something, and I'll see it as like, oh yeah, I do have those out there. I forgot all about it, which, hey, they're out there working for me while I sleep. What's not to love about that? So here are a few other ways that you can use autoresponders. One thing you can do is you can create a standalone email training series. Instead of presenting a certain educational content in an ebook or a presentation, you can break it up into a series of emails and create an autoresponder series. So you have your landing page where people sign up. Hey, take our 5-7 episode mini course on X topic, and then they get those emails automatically delivered to them. Again, automatic, you don't even have to think about it. Another thing you can do is offer a quick tip. I've seen marketers do this before. After I attend a webinar, I might get an email a couple of days later saying, oops, I forgot to include this very important tip in the webinar that you attended, and here it is. Again, it creates another touch point, another point of engagement. You can also offer a resource list. So if someone downloads, let's say, an ebook, if you don't want to do the mini course thing like I did, you can you might want to send them an email with links to your your 5 most popular blog posts or podcast episodes on this particular topic. Or you might offer a case study that has to do with the topic of that resource, that last action that they took, and show how, again, back to B2B blogging, I could send them a case study to show how this company achieved phenomenal results through B2B blogging. So are you starting to see what I'm talking about here? Are you starting to see how those autoresponder emails can be so powerful in deepening your engagement, but also in taking that conversation to another level? And are you starting to see why it's a mistake to just stop at that welcome email or stop at the thank you for downloading email? That we're missing out on a golden opportunity to deepen our engagement with those people. Also, notice what we're not doing in these autoresponder emails is we are not selling. Now, we're not selling our products or services. We're always, quote unquote, selling that next step in that demand gen funnel, whatever that next step happens to be, whether it's a webinar or a consultation. And we continue selling next step until we get all the way down to the sales conversation level. But what we don't want to do is rush the request for that sales conversation before. It's not something we want to do at the top of the funnel. When someone first downloads that very simple ebook, we don't want to say, hey, we'd love to talk to you about your needs. Let's set up a consultation with one of our consultants. You're going to scare them away. They're still in the research phase. So and just remember that when we set up these autoresponder series, we're always encouraging people to go to that next step. Next step, all the way down to say, okay, it's clear that you're interested in what we have to offer. What do you say to a consultation or a conversation or whatever, however you phrase it? So those are just a few of my thoughts on how you can fuel your demand gen strategy with email responders. Again, take time and effort to set up, but once you set them up and set them on their way, you don't even have to think about it. And that's the beauty of email autoresponders. If you have other tips around this topic, or if you have any questions for me, please feel free to shoot me a tweet at @ResonanceCont. Again, resonance content with the ENT lopped off. Now it's time for our content marketing tip of the week. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you've probably heard me talk several times about the importance of closing each piece of content with a call to action. And usually when we talk about those calls to action, we talk about website pages, we talk about blogs, we talk about emails, and I'm sure you're doing it with you're including that call to action with all those assets. But what about your longer form content? What about those ebooks? What about those white papers? What about those webinars? For each piece of content in that demand gen funnel, you need a call to action that guides readers to the next level. Now, I see so many presentations and ebooks that either have no call to action or they close with kind of a wimpy, for more information, visit our website, and they give the URL to their homepage. That's too general. People go to your homepage, and then what? They don't know. They don't have a clear-cut sense of direction. So what we would want to do in those calls to action is to get specific. Think of the specific step you want the reader to take and give them specific instructions on how to take it. Okay, campers, that is it for me today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Content Marketing Podcast. If you like what you've heard, please feel free to subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher or SoundCloud or via our RSS feed. And if you really like what you've heard, please leave us a quick review on iTunes. And, those reviews, I appreciate them so very much, but also they help our search mojo on iTunes. When people go looking for a content marketing podcast, the number of reviews definitely helps us to appear higher in those results. So your help is tremendously appreciated. Also, don't forget to grab your free copy of our latest ebook, Ninja Secrets of B2B Blogging, at b2bbloggingebook.com. As always, I'd like to leave you with a quote, and today's comes from advertising legend David Ogilvy. He once said, quote, "The best ideas come as jokes. Make your thinking as funny as possible." Unquote. Again, this is Rachel Parker with Resonance Content Marketing. Wishing you a week full of funny thinking. Thank you again for listening, and we will see you again next week. Take care.